Hi, this is Lady AD, and my question today is, do you know when God surprises you? Have you been surprised by God? I have just been absolutely thrown back in surprise by God this week. But it starts a little bit further than this week, and it concerns evangelism. Now, one of the areas that I have most struggled with is the area of evangelism. Are you the same? Now, when someone mentions the word to me, I kind of cringe inside. I have visions of two men turning up on my doorstep uninvited with religious paraphernalia under their arms. I can't help but sort of go, oh, I really don't want to do that. Now, it doesn't help me when I'm quoted Jesus's great commission of going to all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. I'm being told that I have to do the same. Being told that one of the gifts of the Spirit is evangelism and I should be doing it just makes me feel inadequate and that I'm not doing my job as a Christian. Now, I think about that phrase a little, doing my job as a Christian, and I chuckle a little because that's not what God wants. He doesn't expect anything. That's why it's a free gift from Him. And I know it's the Holy Spirit that convicts and encourages people to think and rethink their lives and turn to Jesus. Though sometimes He does use me and you to do this. And it's always a surprise when He does. Now, there's a difference from using the word evangelize, evangelism, or any connotation of that word, and simply telling your story as to why you believe in God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. When asked, I actually love to explain, to describe and share. And if I see a glazed expression appear on the eyes, I know I need to stop. But if asked about my journey with the Lord, I do enjoy the retelling and telling of new things as well, because every day is an adventure. Some may call my trip into evangelism with a small e, because for me it's sharing an experience which might make somebody else consider their own experiences or even want to have something similar happen to them. Witnessing and witnessing to others is another Christian expression, kind of meaning evangelism. Now, I admire those who can just tell their story at a drop of a hat, can stand in a market square and be upfront witnesses for the Lord. But I find that hard myself. Does it mean that I think Jesus is unworthy of being spoken about? Well, no. It just has to fit in the way that each person expresses themselves naturally. So to my mind, doing anything else is forced and false and feels fabricated. What about you? How easy do you find it to talk about Jesus to others? Do you feel pressurized into it? And how do you cope? Now, when I got baptized at the same time as my husband Dennis in 1996, I was so enthusiastic and so happy. I wanted to tell the world, tell them the difference it had made to my life. My family and friends made it clear that that might be good for us, but don't try and impose it on them. And I heard a similar story from a new Christian who'd just gone through Alpha recently. So thank you, Amy, for that. There are ways. When I wanted to be at my most infectious, others were busy inoculating themselves against the Christian gene. So I contented myself with other ways. And recently, when I was challenged with this, I thought, well, actually, my way consists of wearing a cross, writing a broadcast. I say that, I just realized I haven't put it on today. Hey ho, but I will be going out later and I will be putting it on. So wearing a cross, writing and broadcasting my blogs, promoting my book Unfrozen, which had the Holy Spirit sitting on my shoulder every moment that I was writing that book and making it clear that I am a woman of faith in my work dealings. For me, this was quite enough. Maybe not exactly under the radar, but not in your face either. However, something has happened recently that has surprised me, and it certainly hasn't been of my initiative. Let me tell you. To promote my publishing business and get more clients, I decided to attend some business networking meetings. I wanted to explore with people that a book can be their new business card in effect. And I wanted to expand into business books alongside non-fiction, children and faith genres. The first networking meeting I attended, I got into a conversation with a businesswoman. She had recently moved into the area and she wanted to find a local church. And I recommended a couple of churches. The second time I attended that network meeting, I began to chat with a gentleman who had a cleaning business. And we arranged to have a 10-minute session where we shared information about our relative work. Yet, when we started that 10 minutes, he didn't want to talk about that at all. He had questions, and he had questions to ask me as to why I had a strong faith. What was it about God that I loved? And a whole host of questions. I really enjoyed answering them. I didn't feel outside my comfort zone. In fact, it felt very natural, and we had a super chat. I'm not sure if I'll see him again, but he has given me permission to send this blog on to him. God really surprised me, and I am thrilled. I was made up with this encounter. I didn't put too much significance on it, but when I retold it to my friend Ted, he asked me if I knew another businessman in that area, and my answer was yes. In fact, the guy is the area organizer for this particular network. Well, Ted and others in our church had been praying for him and had invited him to Alpha and other events, and he was interested, but he hadn't made the decision to come yet. So guess who I will be talking to when I go to my third meeting? I began to ask God, Lord, is this what you want to use me for when I go networking? I thought it was just about attracting more clients and would-be authors, but actually, perhaps there's a deeper need that I need to address. Did you know that God has a sense of humor and loves to surprise us? Yesterday, I got a message from a lady who I'd met at a women's network event this week. She says, "Hi lady, we sat together last night if you remember. I nearly asked you about your cross as it was lovely. You asked me who my ideal customer is, and I actually wrote it down. I wrote a Christian working in a non-Christian business." We had sat next to each other all evening and chatted, but without any faith conversation happening. And yet, she'd noticed. So this has really made me sit up. Does it make me an evangelist, or is it simply being obedient to Holy Spirit and wanting faith conversations to happen? What do you think? Now, when I go into groups and meetings of businessmen and women, taking with me a copy of my books, Unfrozen, Little Unicorn, and other authors I represent, I shall certainly be wearing my God hat and my cross, and I will wait for him to surprise me. Let me know your experience. This is Lady. Keep unfrozen.